What better way to deal with our feelings than to eat them? Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I'm having a really hard time accepting the fact that the Game of Thrones season finale is this upcoming Sunday. I'm struggling to understand how the season flew by so quickly. I feel like it started last week and we're not gonna get the next season until probably 2019. I don't know, I'm having a hard time. So what better way to deal with our feelings than to eat them? Am I right? Today, I'm going to share two different types of spinach dip. One of them is a spinach and artichoke dip, and the second one is like your traditional classic spinach dip, except they are plant-based. So for those of you who have a dairy intolerance, you're not gonna shit your pants. Sounds like a plus to me. The first recipe that I'm gonna share with you is a spinach and artichoke dip, and it is absolutely delicious. It's inspired by a spinach and artichoke dip that I normally get when I go to Meat on Main or Meat in Gastown here in Vancouver. Meat is a vegan sort of like comfort food restaurant. They make a really delicious spinach and artichoke dip, but I don't really feel like driving there every single time I wanna have their artichoke dip. So for the last few months, I have been testing different recipes in my kitchen to try to replicate their spinach and artichoke dip because it is so creamy and so delicious. You wouldn't even know that it's like plant-based. That's how good it is. And I think I finally nailed it. Chris has been my guinea pig and he agrees that he thinks it's spot on, and I'm not paying him to say that. And the second recipe is like your classic spinach dip that you would get in a sourdough bowl. That's what we're gonna make. And both recipes are super easy to do. I think both of these are gonna be delicious little treats that you can make for your Game of Thrones finale party. I'm probably gonna make both for ours, and the people that we're having at our finale party are myself and Chris and Louie. So one more thing that I want to mention is that I have been working on my website and it's slowly coming together, and I'm gonna have a section on my website dedicated to just like recipes and the food that I share on Snapchat and on YouTube. It's gonna be like a little hub for everything. I've been really into food photography lately. I don't know why, but it's very satisfying to me and creatively fulfilling. So I will let you know when that's up. For now, I'm gonna post the recipes in the description box of this video. If you guys end up making these recipes, share them with me on Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat. Okay, so I think I've rambled on enough. I hope you guys enjoy these recipes if you end up making them for your Game of Thrones finale. And if you don't watch Game of Thrones, A, what is life? Get on it. And B, you can make them anyway. So let's go to Flavor Town.
Welcome to Kevin Cooks Stuff in the Office.
Okay, so we're starting with this delicious ass spinach and artichoke dip. I'm salivating just watching this back. The first thing I do with most sauces is I soak some raw cashews overnight. I've got 2 cups here, but I'm using them for other recipes, so you'll really only need about half a cup. I like to put them in a measuring cup or a jar, pour some hot water over them, let them get to room temperature, and then pop them in the fridge overnight. If you don't have time to soak them overnight, just soak them in boiling water for a few hours and you should be fine. Next, I'm steaming about 3 cups of fresh spinach. We'll be using 4 cups total, but I'm only steaming 3. I'm straining the water from it, and you can see it basically wilts down to nothing. Over medium heat, I've got a couple tablespoons of olive oil. To that, I'm gonna add half of a large yellow onion chopped up really well. I'm gonna let it sweat out, and then I'm going to add my chopped up steamed spinach to that. Let it cook together a little bit, and then I'm adding a cup of fresh chopped spinach just for a little extra texture. Saute that, and then add a tablespoon of garlic puree. I'm not cooking this for too long before I set it to the side because I don't want to burn the garlic, and because I don't want the fresh spinach to lose too much of its form. Okay, onto the creamy part of the sauce. I'm using my magic bullet, and I'm starting with some organic medium firm tofu. I forget the exact measurements because I don't have the notes right in front of me, but they'll be in the bottom bar. To that, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast for that cheesy, nutty flavor. Half a cup of raw cashews. They plump up quite a bit when they soak. 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, about a 1/4 cup of tofutti cream cheese, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and about a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt, and then just a few splashes of unsweetened cashew milk. I let that blend until it's completely smooth. If you don't have a high-powered blender, that's fine. The bullet is pretty good for most sauces, but you do have to babysit it and make sure that every bit is being pureed. So every once in a while, what I do is I stir the inside, add a splash of cashew milk, and then set it back to blend. I'll taste it as I go, and when I've reached my desired creaminess, which means there's like no grainy texture, I add about a tablespoon of tamari. Sometimes I like to add miso paste, but I didn't have any on hand, so I just used tamari instead. So I've taken my creamy sauce and added it to my sauteing pan, and I'm just incorporating everything together. Starting to look good. I lost the clip of me adding artichokes, but you'll want to add about half a cup of chopped artichoke hearts now. I like the marinated ones. You want to do this on low heat because you don't want the sauce to stick to the bottom and fully cook through it all. So the key is to constantly stir it while it's bubbling away, and then you're gonna plate it. I eat mine with tortilla chips. On this particular day, I had blue corn tortilla chips from Trader Joe's. There you have it, creamy, gooey deliciousness. Isn't that right, Guy?
Out of bounds. You swing through every pitch.
Moving right along to our spinach dip in a sourdough bowl. Starting out with half a cup of soy-free veganaise. A little over half of a container of the tofutti sour supreme. This is like a vegan sour cream. A full packet of the Knorr vegetable soup mix. This is key for that classic spinach dip flavor, but if you can't find it, what I've done in the past is I've used Vegeta since it runs through my blood, and it was still tasty. So I'm stirring in the soup mix, and I like to add a little bit of raw onion to my dip, so I did about a quarter cup of finely chopped yellow onion. Stir that in, and now I've got a 300-gram bag of frozen organic spinach, which is about 2 cups, and I'm going to strain it until there's no water left in it. You want to make sure that you're getting rid of as much water as possible so that it doesn't make the dip runny. So once I've got it all strained, I'm stirring that into the dip using a rubber spatula, and then you're going to want to switch over to a fork because a fork is going to help to really break apart the spinach so there's no clumps. Every little bit of spinach must be coated in dip. No spinach left behind. Then you're going to cover it up with some plastic wrap, pop it in the fridge so the flavors can get to know each other, and let it chill for about, 2 hours, maybe even 1 hour if you can't help yourself. And then we're going to move on to the sourdough bowl. So I just get mine from the bakery near my house. First, I like to carve out the top, kind of like a lid. Then I'm going to carve out the soft pieces from the inside, chop everything up into bite-sized pieces, set them aside, and then you're left with a perfectly hollowed out bread bowl. This is a pretty common recipe. I'm sure we all had it growing up. All I did was take the classic version of it, and I replaced the ingredients with plant-based alternatives.
2 hours later.
So once the dip has chilled, I'm just scooping it into the bread bowl, arranging the little bread pieces around the bowl, and I'm ready to dunk my face in it. This is so flavorful and so easy to make. It's a little carb heavy, but fuck it. We need all the comfort we can get for this finale, am I right? Like I said, the recipes will be listed in the description box below. If you do end up making these, I hope you enjoy. Happy finale night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!